Hi there. Do you know that President Biden recently raised 4 times the tariff on goods from China? So, what is the reaction from Chinese netizens? What are the views of many of the Chinese people here? Well, the first thing is very surprising. I have 4 million followers in my Chinese self media. Very few of them got to ask me about this issue, and in general, in the official media and in other people's self media, very few discussions. Apparently, the reason is that people have already factored in this hike in tariff. People already made their plans for this. So, for example, very few, if any, Chinese electrical vehicle makers are planning to go to the US, on which the tariff rate is already 100%. Now, this being said, I, as a person who used to work in the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, 50 miles away from Detroit, I do feel for American consumers and American companies. I truly believe that tariff hiking is not doing a good service to all of them. Let's take the example of EVs. Nowadays in China, almost every week, even every day when I go to the street, I see new models, exciting models. I'm a car person, okay? So I love this. Now, with 100% high, tariff on Chinese EVs, no Chinese EV manufacturers will go to the US, no dealerships will be there. So my friends who are car people in the US will never get a chance to see these exciting, interesting car models. The one car model, by the way, is called the BYD U8. The car can go through as high as 5 feet of water. The car can make a tank-like circular turn. Okay, very interesting car, very interesting model. Okay, so you will not be able to see it. Now, meanwhile, there will not be more jobs in the US due to the tariff. In my view, take the example of solar panels. Okay, the solar panels is actually a cheap way for American households to cut their utility bill by installing a solar panel on top of their roof. But now with a hiked tariff rate on Chinese solar panels, many households would not be able to afford the installation fee. As a consequence of this, the jobs associated with installing solar panels, maintaining solar panels, people who come in to regularly clean the solar panels will be gone, will be smaller, okay? So in the end, nobody wins, okay? So what would be the best strategy of the US dealing with truly competitive and rising Chinese industries? Well, to me, the answer is very simple, that you have to carefully understand what are the fundamental reasons behind the Chinese rising of these new industries. The popular view is subsidy, okay? No, which is totally wrong. At best, superficial. Let me explain to you. Okay, according to a recent study, which is widely quoted by reporters, including New York Times, as high as 1.3% of Chinese GDP is used to subsidize these industries. But you know that China's enterprises contribute as high as easily 10% of GDP in tax revenue. So even with 1.5 or 2% subsidy, they still have a huge tax burden. Now, enterprise in China is more heavily taxed by central and local governments than in the US. So as a consequence, a few years ago, a Chinese entrepreneur called Cao Dewang went to Dayton, Ohio to set up his auto glass factory. The single most important reason is lower tax rates, much lower in the US than China. So the question should be turned around. Why do American companies cannot compete with the Chinese despite much lower tax rates than the subsidized tax rates in China? The most important reason for the Chinese enterprises being able to grow so fast is local governments helping the enterprises. For example, in the city of Shanghai, 4 or 5 years ago, Tesla was able to start production in less than 10 months from groundbreaking. The Shanghainese government provided various kind of help for Tesla, right? So arguably, Tesla has better friends in Chinese local governments than in the US. This is a fact, okay? Now, furthermore, what is the reason for Chinese local government trying to help local enterprises? The reason is tax. Okay, they got to keep 50% of tax revenue collected from local enterprises, whether they are Chinese or multinational companies. Okay, because of this, they want to help local enterprise to enter. In contrast, all of the tax paid by a US company goes into the pocket of the Treasury, and the congressman got to debate how to use this tax raise. So the mayors, the governors of a US state or city do not get as much interest in their local enterprises as in China. This is the fundamental reason. Okay, so if you follow my logic, a simple and easy way to reform it for you is to give back whatever corporate income tax collected by the federal government back to the cities. Let the mayors decide how to use this tax revenue. When they have more tax revenue linked to the local enterprises, they have much more incentives, much more energy to help local enterprises. So this is the lesson, in my view, that US can learn from China. So please let me know your comments, your questions. I really look forward to them. Thank you.